In the cold, bleak streets of Windhelm, the dark elf roams around. Although they were once a seemingly emotionless being, they seem to have a noticeable pep in their step. They've noticed that ever since they returned from Riften, nothing has been the same. In the hours following the slaying of the orphanage owner, excitement rippled through their veins as if their blood was filled with electricity. Although they reside in a hold without colours, everything was brighter, music sounded better, even the dullest of stews tasted like they were cooked by the gourmet themselves. Days later, they noticed that the glee had begun to slowly dissipate, disintegrating and fading away as the world around them returned to its former dull state. As time went on, the elf started to feel slightly paranoid. Every passing person stared for just a second too long, and every murmur felt as if it was targeted at the Dunmer. Eventually, the feelings of paranoia became too much. The elf decides to leave the city and stay in a nearby town. Maybe this new location will help shed the anxiety, and they can get their mind in a better state. Arriving at the nearby town of Kynesgrove, the elf approaches the Braidwood Inn and enters the building. After speaking to the innkeep, they are escorted to the bedroom where they will stay for the night. Laying down on the bed, the Dunmer finally closes their weary eyes and falls into a deep slumber. Awakening in an unfamiliar location, the Dunmer slowly lifts themselves from the bed. Groggy and disoriented, they look around. A shrouded figure sits atop a wardrobe and begins speaking to the elf.
Sleep well?
"Where am I?" the elf asks.
Does it matter? You're warm, dry, and still very much alive. That's more than can be said for old Grelod, Old hag gets butchered in her own orphanage? Things like that tend to get around. But there is a slight, problem. You see, that little Aretino boy was looking for the Dark Brotherhood. For me and my associates. Grelod the Kind was, by all rights, a Dark Brotherhood contract. A kill that you stole. A kill you must repay. If you turn around, you'll notice my guests. You see, there's a contract out on one of them, and that person can't leave this room alive. But, which one? Go on, see if you can figure it out. Make your kill and we're square. Repayment of your debt is but a discreet knife thrust away.
After their conversation, they face the three bound people. The elf's thoughts are trapped in an intertwining conflict. The elf knows that if they refuse to kill one of the captives, they themselves will not leave the room alive. It's not a question of whether or not they choose to kill, but who. Thinking hard, they take a long look at each of the potential victims. On the left is a man donning armor. In the middle is a woman wearing plain clothes. And on the right is a man in a fairly extravagant robe. The elf is unsure if they should question them individually, as to not humanize the captives and possibly cloud their own judgment. They ponder the potential consequences of a wrong choice. But what if there wasn't one? The elf knows that someone in this room will die, and regardless of which life is taken, the Dunmer knows that a kill will satiate their bloodlust. Drowning out any hint of doubt or any chance of second-guessing, they erase all thoughts in their mind. After their mind is clear, the familiar feeling of anticipation bubbles up. The ringing sound begins its ascendo. The solution manifests itself as a ball of magic in the palms of the elf. Everything within the mind of the Dunmer goes silent before the answer is whispered into their soul. Kill them all. A hellish ball of destruction sweeps across the room and strikes the three captives, rendering them all charred vessels that once carried souls. As the corpses solidify on the spot like cooked meat, an intense rush pulses through the elf. After the flames dwindle, the shrouded woman speaks to the elf.
Well, well, aren't we the overachiever? 3 possibilities, 3 victims. Must have been one of them, right? So why take chances? And you've repaid your debt in full. I would like to officially extend to you an invitation to join my family, the Dark Brotherhood. In the southwest reaches of Skyrim, in the Pine Forest, you'll find the entrance to our sanctuary. When questioned by the Black Door, answer with the correct passphrase, "Silence, my brother." Then you're in, and your new life begins. I'll see you at home.
Barely able to listen to a word, the Dunmer takes note of only the most important parts of the conversation. They then burst through the door of the shack, the cold wind accentuating the chilling sensation in their fingertips. Standing over the chilling ice water, they look up at the sky and a haunting voice whispers,
"Hail, Sithers!